Hello, everybody, and welcome into a Thursday edition of the Computer America Show. For those of you who are joining us on our live Computer America video stream brought to you by Otherworld Computing, we have an additional treat.
2 minutes until showtime.
I think it's quite obvious just from what you see. So welcome into the show, and we'll be starting in about 2 minutes. Ben, any comments?
No, just usually we have great interviews that are really fun to listen to, but I think this one in particular is one you're gonna have to see.
Yes, and we'll mention that at the also on the opening of the show.
One minute until showtime.
Okay, 30 seconds. Remember, Florin, is when we start to introduce you, unmute your microphone. Okay, good.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live. It's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello, and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And we got a real treat for you tonight, especially for those of you who are going to be watching us on our live Computer America video stream. If you have not watched this before, we really encourage you to watch the live video broadcast. We'll get started momentarily. Coming up in hour 2, if you have a pet and you're concerned about where your pet is, or if you might lose your pet, we have called Finding Rover going to be joining us with hour 2. So where you can use an app that actually uses facial recognition to find your pet. Kind of interesting stuff. Now, throughout our show, if you have a comment or a question about anything that you're hearing tonight, we certainly welcome your calls. 347-884-8881 will get you on and get you through. That's 347-884-8881. You can also send us to email, a special email inbox we have when we're live and on the air. It is live, L-I-V-E, at ComputerAmerica.com. You can also join us in our live Computer America IRC chat room. From our homepage, just click the live video and chat button there. You'll see on the left-hand side our IRC chat room. It'll ask you for a nickname. That's the name you'll be known by when you go in there. It'll ask you for a CAPTCHA, which is usually a number or a couple of words, and just put that in and click the connect button, and your browser will move you into the Computer America chat room. If you want a nice formatting, excuse me, you can download one of the IRC clients there. We have that as well. Also, our live Computer America streaming page is brought to you by Otherworld Computing, celebrating the 25th anniversary. Excuse me. Quality products, expert support since 1988. Please visit them at www.macworld.com. FaceRig.com for all your computing needs. Excuse me, I'm fighting a cold here. So I'm going to try to do the best I can. In the meantime, Ben might have to do some of the talking here tonight, but we're certainly going to do this. Wow.
Careful.
Yeah. So let's bring on our guest and get things started. And our guest tonight is from a company called FaceRig. How would you like to become a talking animal? Now, well, now you can with FaceRig. It's an add-on software that lets you use your computer's webcam to display your face as a furry creature like a raccoon. Excuse me. Joining us is Dragos Florin Stănilescu. Florin is the co-founder of Holotech Studios, the creator of FaceRig. Florin, welcome into Computer America. How are you?
I'm a bit sleepy because it's 5 a.m. I'm on the other side of the planet, but thanks for having me. It's great being here. I'm a bit nervous, never been on live radio before, but...
Well, we're glad to have you. And
good news is you actually have a face for radio, so, you know, this is going to work out nice.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, now again, we're looking at, I guess, an avatar, is what you call them. And this is Fluffo, the raccoon. And as you can see, Fluffo is in his room. I mean, that's your room that we're looking at the background, right? That's not an overlay. And all of your expressions, everything you're doing is being, including your mouth movements, everything is being translated to the camera, to the actual character. Correct?
That's correct.
So,
real quick though, not to be picky about it, but that's a red panda, right? Not a raccoon.
Yes, but very few people know that, so we're rolling with raccoon.
Okay.
All right. Well, he's the red panda. Okay. You see, Ben is technically accurate, as he usually is. That's very good. So, I mean, it's interesting talking to an animal, and like that, and I can't help but laugh when I watch him. I feel like reaching over the screen, petting him, you know, a little fluffy thing. So tell us a little bit, Florin, about you know, what was the spark that kind of started the FaceRig initiative? How did you get started doing something like this? I mean, it's obviously extremely a lot of fun, but how did you kind of get started? What started it all?
Well, we're a group of indie developers. We were developing computer and console games before starting with FaceRig, and we were doing, of course, motion capture for the games, and some parts of the motion capture, aside the tedious work, of course, some parts were really, really fun. And we wondered, how can we bring this fun to more people? Because the mock-up equipment is very, very expensive, and that's not typically something that you can bring in a home. And that, coupled with the fact that we are also gamers, and we love our in-game characters to interact more as them, say, okay, let's do this. We have the knowledge. Let's seek out a few partners, because the tracking itself, it's from Visage Technologies, a company from Sweden, and the game engine is from a company called FunLab. So it was a bit of a Captain Planet moment, if you get the reference. And that's how FaceRig came to be. And of course, we couldn't have done it without our crowdfunding backers, because this is a crowdfunded project. It started on Indiegogo, actually. So, yeah, that's how it happened.
Well, you know, and again, and as I watch you speaking, I mean, the lips of the character really move in exactly to how the lips would move naturally. I mean, and that doesn't happen accidentally. That is really quite a feat of programming. I've seen some other ones out there, but they don't come close to the accuracy of what I'm watching here right now. The way that your lips move, the eyes, the expressions, the mouth, even your ears. Now I know your ears aren't waggling like that, but they are moving.
Well, it's a combination. We want to give the user a proper experience, so whatever can't be accurately tracked, we are faking it. We have we don't hold back on faking stuff to make it look good. So of course my ears aren't tracked, and of course that's a motion that's inferred on something else, or even an idle behavior. But it looks better better than if the ears were stiff. So why not?
So yeah, I agree. Why not? Now now how is it tracking you? Is using the camera to track you? Is that what you're doing?
Yes, it's using a video feed from a regular web camera. You don't need fancy sensors, though we do want to support fancier sensors in the future, but right now it's just a web camera, and the microphone do image and sound-based tracking. And just that being purists, just going for the image really wouldn't have worked out as well. And of course, we are also adding in puppeteering controls. I mean, I can also move it with a mouse. There's no sense in cutting out expression possibilities. So,
Real quick, I know that most people, whenever they use webcam, just like myself, we use a headset. Are you using a headset right now, or I mean, like, are you wearing anything that would interfere with the motion tracking?
well, I can actually toggle my real self.
No, don't blow the image.
Well, no, that was nice though, because you can actually see that. Yeah, exactly, and
Yeah.
not bad. But he actually shows that he's wearing a headset, so it's obviously not, you know.
Right.
Well, if I wore a big baseball cap, and I don't know if it would obstruct the camera's view of my eyebrows, of course it would interfere with the tracking. But in a typical use case, it's fairly robust. And
Right.
again, this is not really our merit; it's the folks at Visage Technologies who did all the heavy lifting in this regard.
Right, because if you raise your eyebrows, the character will raise his eyebrows. I assume that if you move your nose, the nose is going to twitch, or I'm not sure exactly. Now, the ears, obviously, you're not moving your ears, so is that just part of the natural motion of the character? You have that built in?
Yes, for the ears, yes. But also we do plan to have other form of controls, like we have two options, either button pressed, button actuated, or a controller, or to infer the ear position based on facial expression. When it looks scared, we could make the ears go towards the back, but that's not really in right now because the program is still in development. It's not finalized yet.
Well,
So it is available.
I have to say, for a program that's still in development, I think you are light years ahead of anything out there that I have seen. So I can't imagine what this is going to look like when you go into final production with this. Ben and I are going to experiment some more. We're going to get a couple of we're each going to get a key, and we're going to start doing these characters. Now I noticed that the character is right now positioned in your room. I also understand that you could put the character that we're looking at different backgrounds as well.
Yeah, actually, just let me bring up the lava pits. And yeah, it looks a lot more evil now. And of course, we have quite a few different avatars as well.
Yes, now that's the one we're going to give Ben. That's the World of Warcraft.
Okay.
I'd say closer to DL, but it's very dramatic.
Yes.
Okay, let's dial down the drama a bit. You can also place various props on characters, and we also support custom creation. I mean, everybody, if you know 3D modeling and animation, you can actually build your own avatars and have them import in FaceRig, because it's very important to us that FaceRig is a viable creation platform. We cannot hope to have avatars that fit everyone's taste. There's a few billion people out there with different tastes, and it's best to give them creative control over how they model and build their avatars.
Yeah, that's actually one of the questions that we already got asked in our chat room was, the ability to custom create your own characters. And I mean, I know absolutely nothing about 3D modeling, but would that include like a standard output file, and then you could just upload it and it'll start acting like that, or do you need special software to work with FaceRig?
Oops. Did we lose?
Yep.
Oh, did we lose Dracos? Oh, I think we lost them.
Might have lost them.
Yeah, no. And it was going so well.
Well, the FaceRig was still working. It's the internet connection, I think, that's lagging out.
Exactly. So, well, we'll get Florin back here momentarily. Remember, it's like about 4 in the morning now. He's in Romania, of all places. This is Jonathan made a great suggestion that for a Halloween show, we could use this. We could all be different characters.
Well, actually, one of the things that, well, yeah, Halloween show for Computer America, that'd be funny.
Yeah.
One of the things that you mentioned was actually kind of interesting. Was they had this option of whether or not they were going to have the ears controlled by they're going to recognize your face and your expressions. So scared, happy, sad, whatever. The ears are going to react like that, or if they were going to be button controlled. And I guess if you start doing button controls, it becomes more puppet-like than it is augmented. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Although he said they were like puppeteer controls that he could that you could use the mouse to control, and
really hope he gets back here soon.
Yeah, I do too, because I'm in communication with the Skype, and hopefully he's acknowledging that. I think he's attempting to re-enter now, so and we'll get him back. Technology is such that this happens, but I have a lot of questions. The methods that he used. I mean, and the different the development process, and how many. I understand there are different versions of FaceRig out there too, and I certainly would like to find out what that is and the availability of when this is going to be come out, and hopefully we can get Florin back on our connection.
Yeah, it sounds like he actually, kind of piggybacked it off of his game studio. So they were making games and they needed motion capture. So it wasn't. They weren't out to create FaceRig, at least it sounds like. But once they kind of got rolling with the idea of motion capture, off they go.
Yeah, no, I certainly agree. Again, if you're just joining us, we're talking to the co-founder of Holotech Studios, and they have their flagship product is something called FaceRig. Florin is the co-founder of the company, and they make this incredible, I guess, avatar. I guess that's any software program that uses your existing web camera. You don't need any additional special hardware to do it, and it just uses your web camera and your microphone to bring to life this avatar that can be well, I called it a raccoon. It's actually a red.
It's a red panda. Red panda and raccoon are in the same family. They're essentially cousins, but red panda is
red panda, and completely. I mean, and based upon your facial expressions, of course, your mouth moving. The avatar's mouth moves in conjunction with what it is you're saying in a very lifelike manner. Yeah.
I feel like you weren't off on the mark when you compared it to Rocket the raccoon from the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Yeah.
Think that, but in real time and you.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's it. He's very much like the raccoon in Guardians of the Galaxy, and I wouldn't be surprised if they probably used something very similar to this in that movie. Because the raccoon was talking and what
actually,
is it?
They probably didn't.
What do you think they used?
They probably use, some of their own 3D animators, but for them to do it in real time. I mean, first of all, Rocket was what, 1.5 feet tall, and this is doing it in real time as you're speaking what you're doing. And there, they probably just had a stand-in and edited it and put it in after the fact. So this is, it's probably, the quality is obviously, the multi-million-dollar budget movie somehow edged out the quality of FaceRig, but FaceRig does something that, Guardians of the Galaxy doesn't do, which is real time.
Well, do you think? Well, now I know, for example, in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, they to animate to bring the golem and all the different characters, like they use those little things where they put little dots on your face, and then and that was real time. That when they were doing it, the creatures would move in synchronous with that. You don't think they used that?
Those were like, you're talking about like the spandex suit with the ping pong balls
Yeah.
that that uses markers for 3D animating,
Yeah.
and they put him in a suit, they put him in that, and then they were able to put up like a rough image of it, but definitely the refining and the graphics and everything that was done after the fact. Especially with the face, because you can capture the motion, him, a golem, flailing around, jumping around, sitting on a rock. You can catch that with that suit, but the face and things like that, which FaceRig does, probably wasn't done in real time like this or like this is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Of course, as you say, with it, when they do it that way, I guess they can tweak it so it's perfect.
Yeah.
After the fact, because you don't have to see it. They can do, I guess, post-production. They can do a lot of post-production work.
Yeah, exactly. And FaceRig, you're not going to do post-production on it, but it looks really nice, and probably want to just in case anyone wants to see it. Hopefully we get it back and we can show you more, what it can do here on the show live. But also they have a YouTube page, and on their YouTube page they have probably close to a couple dozen videos of all their avatars and how it works and what it looks like. So if for some reason that you didn't get enough information here on the show, or want to see more and more avatars and things like that, go check out their YouTube page for FaceRig, and they have
we have in our show notes a page. Just go to click on the show notes button, and you'll see today's show, which is September the 25th. And we have a link to the FaceRig website, and that'll take you there, and you can watch all the videos that Ben was talking about, the YouTube videos, and so you can see them. I see that he's connected on Skype, but for some reason he's not seeing what I'm typing. I'm trying to get a hold of him, but he's not seeing it, or he's trying to get back in. And you have to remember, again, he's in Romania, and he's on the other side of the globe right now, and I guess these things do happen. We had him that had so many things more to do, but he doesn't appear to be coming back. We will probably take this to the bottom of the hour, and if we can't get him, then we'll just go to do some computer news stories.
Yeah, we'll do news until the next hour with our next guest. But I mean, worst case scenario, he doesn't come back by the bottom of the hour. I wouldn't mind having him back on, and we're doing a pretty good interview without the guest. But hopefully when he has a steadier connection to talk about this, because we've said it many times before, this thing looks amazing, and it's not even in full production yet.
No, it's not even in beta. I think it's still in alpha development, but it is an amazing feat or accomplishment. Looking at all these different things, I have a feeling that his computer probably. He told me that he had two computers, and I think he said that one of them was going to crash. It would possibly, because remember, not in final production. I think evidently that's what he's experienced. He's probably has a system crash, and
I wouldn't say it's a system crash.
There he is. There he is. Okay, he's coming back. Hey, Florin, you're back. How are you?
Yes, and
what
I'm
happened?
on mobile internet. My internet service provider decided that 5 a.m. is a great hour to stop providing service because I cannot call them.
Well,
so
by the number,
it's
probably a good time.
We're just glad we're just glad that you're back. Let's hopefully the connection stays up. And again, if you're watching us on our live video streaming page brought to you by Otherworld Computing, you can see Florin. in his red panda, or I like to call him a raccoon, but a red panda avatar. Um, so let me ask you this: where are you in the development process? I mean, are there different versions of FaceRig? Are you in alpha stage or in beta phase? Where are you at this point?
Well, it's a beta phase, but it depends how you define the beta phase, because probably in game development we would be somewhere midway between alpha and beta. And in programming terms, we say beta because we don't plan to stop adding features when the program is done that we currently estimate for December. We plan to have it as an ever-growing platform, because the ultimate goal is to have something like a virtual actor set for home use, because we are not planning to stop at face tracking. Right now it's a bit more of a toy, but we want to ultimately build it in a more serious creation platform for making maybe short clips. And also, of course, we won't forsake communication and real time, but we also want to enable users to create more compelling experiences using FaceRig.
Really? Okay. So then, can you kind of define who FaceRig is really meant for? I mean, what is your target audience? Is it the people who want to use it as a toy or as a fun thing, or is it serious developers, or is it both?
Well, FaceRig Classic and FaceRig Pro are for people who like to have fun and communicate online. And FaceRig Studio, which is something that we plan for next year, will be aimed at content creators and more serious endeavors. So we plan to have something for everyone.
Okay, well that's good. I like that, because then you're certainly leaving it open for the obvious fun aspect of this. When you were offline, we were talking about things like Lord of the Rings and Avatar, the movie, and how they were doing similar things, but they had those spandex suits with the little motion sensor dots on them, so they could have live performance. It was technically live performance, but then I guess they would do a lot afterwards. They would do a lot of post editing. You don't. FaceRig is designed. There's no post editing, and at least not for the standard version. I mean, it is what it is, and it's just amazing what you're seeing doing this live. Are you saying in the pro versions or the production versions you're going to be able to do post editing on it as well?
Yes, of course, you would be able to do a bit of cleanup, maybe touch up the lip sync a bit if you want to sing. For now, the background music might interfere with the lip movement, so if you want to record a video clip, you might have to do a bit of cleanup. And yeah, those would be present in the studio version.
Right, exactly.
And what we would.
Right, exactly. Because if you're playing music, music is going to interfere with what it is that you're doing, because the microphone is picking up everything. So you would sing the song and then you would add the music track in post production, and that would be the final video. So you would have a more synchronized version out there. But if you're doing it live, then obviously you don't want to play music. You can sing a cappella.
Or you could have a mixer and add the music past the voice path after it gets through FaceRig. So there are options. So
yes, that's very true. I would have thought of that. So in other words, you could have the mixer, so you could be singing live. The music would be coming in through the mixer, so it wouldn't go through the microphone. And that means if it doesn't go through the microphone, it doesn't interfere with the lip motion, and that would certainly be another way to do it.
Yeah, though that does add a mixer into the mix, so to say.
Yeah. Now, are you? So he's smiling, and he's smiling too. So you're gonna do a little singing for us, Florin?
I'm afraid not. Strictly for what happens at the karaoke bar stays at the karaoke bar.
I can see people seeing the character up at the karaoke bar, and him looking at his drink and saying, I promise not. No, but
see, I always wanted to see like the Diablo character, like the Diablo Devil character that you had singing Whitney Houston, "I Will Always Love You." That would be awesome to me. But another time, Another time.
We do have a karaoke mode in plan for FaceRig that would make it easier. I mean, you would also have the option of the character doing the lip sync to the actual text from the karaoke or to your voice. So yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
You see, all of your wishes are going to come true, Ben. I mean, with this.
See, wishes I didn't even know I had. One of our listeners actually, asked. I know that the idea behind this came from you guys working on video games and you needed motion capture and you kind of went at it like that. Is FaceRig easy to work into a game? Like, do you have a special level of integration for future video game developers?
Actually, yes, we do get that question a lot. If we are going to build an API for game developers, and we do plan to do so, but it has to be sometime later in 2015, because right now we really need to polish this version and bring it up to a nice state for the launch in December. But yeah, it is possible, and we are planning to do it.
I guess that's one of the good things about being in beta is, even though you've come so far and you have such a great product already, people are going to start hammering you and throwing, every kind of question that they have. And I guess, if you're dealing with every day, what, are you getting a lot of questions? Can it be integrated with movies, with video games? Like, is there a big, are people asking for something like this?
There are tons of questions, and we have to thank our community moderators for taking this burden off us so we can focus on the program. But there are tons of questions coming every day on this. And the same question come, people don't read the already existing threads. That's a pet peeve of mine. But yes. There are a lot of questions coming in.
We got more questions for you too, but we're at the bottom of the hour. We're going to take about a 3-minute break, so you can put yourself back on mute or whatever you want to do, and then we'll continue on. You're listening to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, the Boost Radio Network, the IRN Radio Network. We're talking to FaceRig. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No Hair Removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host, Cheryl, for No Hair Removal.
Thanks. Hey gals, I love talking about my No. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more patented thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect on all body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free trial. Get the No, the facial kit, a travel case, and a $100 discount shopping card, and you don't risk a penny to try it. Try the incredible No hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-5415. That's 800-953-5415. 800-953-5415.
Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your enhance the lives of companion animals and the people who love them. Their no-kill rescue shelter is open year-round, making it easy for people to adopt their best new friend. This year, Brother Wolf will find homes for over 2,400 orphan dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All have ended up as an orphan through no fault of their own. Brother Wolf has created a safe, nurturing environment where these special animals can heal emotionally and physically until they find a lifelong home. Their life-saving transport program brings dogs and puppies from overcrowded shelters in the south to rescues in the north where homes are easier to find. Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is a 501c3 organization. To learn more about their life-saving work and to make a donation, visit their website at www.bwar.org. That's www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Do Svidanya, it's Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America, this time the UNU Ultra Pack Tour. Now, we're impressed with UNU Electronics and their understanding of the importance of adequate current levels from gear. Their Ultra Pack Tour is one of the nicest high-capacity power pucks we've seen, and quite nice looking. It's a sleek, black, rectangular slab with a footprint just slightly larger than a 3x5-inch card and about 3/4 of an inch thick. Its guts boast a 10,000 milliamp hour lithium polymer battery, fed by a 12-volt, 2.5 amp wall wart using parallel charging to fill it faster than most such gear. An LED display shows a 5-segment status bar graph in a battery outline, plus a numerical percent of full readout, plus the time remaining to reach full charge. The business end offers both 1 amp and 2.1 amp charging ports. This can keep feeding one of those at full throttle for more than 3 hours. It also has a switch-controlled white LED convenience light. Bottom line, the UNU Ultra Pack Tour Power Puck has the power, the looks, and the smarts to merit top consideration among towable chargers. This is Marty Winston with the News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. 33 minutes past the hour, we have FaceRig here with us, and Florin, more specifically.
I could have sworn that I saw Florin moving his head to the rhythm of the music during the ad.
He probably did.
Yeah, he probably did.
One question that I really want to get to is, this tool seems great for, something that you could just kind of put out a good product and then let the community, kind of take hold of it. Where are you seeing the community centered? In case they wanted to share, ideas for avatars, or if they want to talk about it, or if they want to use it. I mean, you mentioned Steam a little earlier. Are you seeing forums posted on it, YouTube? Where are people kind of taking this to discuss FaceRig?
Well, there's of course our home website, facerig.com. There are the Steam forums, which are a bit more active than our homepage right now. And we also have a fan page, which quite surprised us, and we love our fans for building that page. It's facerig.us. And that's where people are gathered to build props and avatars. So on the Steam forums, in the community creation section, and facerig.us, which is a more free forum. I mean, we have no control over what happens there. It's a fan page, so be warned.
Okay.
That's always a fun thing too, to see the comments. We're getting requests in the chat room. Some people want to see more of the was it the samurai cat? But I don't know. We like Fluffo. I like Fluffo, the red panda.
Yeah, okay. Well, just let me know. It's so easy to shapeshift.
Yeah, a shapeshifter. That's true.
Yeah. I mean, Craig, unless you have a question that's really pressing, I mean, middle of the show, if you want to kind of cycle through and show people, some of the more avatars that he has.
Okay, let's do that. Why don't we do that? Why don't we show? Why don't we have you, Florin, show us some of the other avatars that you can be? We're going to keep the background at least at your room that you're in now. Do you want to shift that, or do you want to show? Let's do the different characters, and then let's show some of the different backgrounds that you developed for him. Okay?
Okay. So, well, we have a version of the kitty which is not a samurai cat, but it's a helmet from World War One.
Yeah.
It was a streamer from Twitch TV that helped us a lot with the program that has this character, and he wanted a World War One helmet. We have a...
Whoops.
Oh no, we can't lose him again.
Oh, do we lose him again? Oh, he's in Romania, and evidently it's 5 in the morning. And the Romanian internet is not the greatest right now, I think, is what's happening. And
I mean, technically speaking, if you're going to shut the internet off to annoy the least amount of people, 5 a.m. would be a pretty good time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, for Computer America,
that's not the best time at all.
Not the best time.
Yeah, but as you can see, he can change the different character. Although I think it just happens when he changes characters. I'm not sure if that's putting additional load on it or what. But
Well, he definitely mentioned before that it was his internet service provider.
Okay, it was.
So and that's another great point that we should probably point out. Changing your avatar, your character, probably wouldn't put any extra stress on your ISP. It would be your computer.
All right, that's it. Well, as I mentioned, he had two computers, and it's, you know, it's interesting. We're getting. Oh no, no, that's our second hour guest that popped up. So we're hoping that Florin will come back to us. Again, if you have any questions for us about what this technology that you're looking at, 347-884-8881. That's 347-884-8881. I'll get you on and get you through. Email is live, L-I-V-E, at computeramerica.com. Also, we'd love to see you in the Computer America chat room. Just click the live video stream in the chat room. You'll ask you for a nickname. You put that in, put the capture code, and it'll move you into the Computer America chat room. And we're getting a lot of interesting cops. Oh, now he's coming back again. I see him. He's coming back on again. So, Florin, hopefully you're back with us at this time. Florin, are you there? Nope. He was there.
And while he was loading in, someone in the chat room actually mentioned this, and I feel like we should go over it real quick. I was able to find from Steam, the FaceRig Steam page, and these are the system requirements for running FaceRig, in case you were, curious.
Yeah, what are the system requirements for running FaceRig?
Yeah, minimum requirements, looks like Windows 7 or later. Okay. So, Craig, you might actually know something more about this than I do, but Mac might not be supported. You'd probably have to run it in Wine or, one of those programs.
Parallels.
To simulate, or Parallels, to simulate a Windows environment. Processor, you need an Intel Core i3, 3220 or equivalent, which is pretty low on the processor side. i3 is the lowest, and 322 or 3220 is pretty low. So, special memory, 2 gigs of RAM. Not bad.
Not bad. I would have thought it would be. Quite frankly, I'm surprised that that low of a computing setup. I mean, that's nice. I mean, to be able to do that, because that means it's going to open up this technology to a lot more people. You don't need a Core i7 or i5.
Oh yeah, no, it's not some kind of super computer gaming rig kind of thing. Graphics card is an NVIDIA GeForce GT 220, which is again, on the lower end of the market. It's not mid-range or high-range. It's, pretty modest. DirectX version 9.0, that would come into play with some of the older computers that can't support DirectX, but I mean DirectX is already up to 11. Okay. So it's not anything new. And hard drive is 2 gigs of available space.
Okay.
So, so the specs aren't that, taxing.
No, they're not. Now I see Florin is trying to get back in. I do see his avatar, and he's trying to regroup it. But so far he's not. He's making attempts to get back in, folks. But I don't know if he's going to make it completely. He keeps trying to get in there. So I'll tell you what. I mean, we'll probably what we'll do is we'll invite him back again, because we have a lot more questions for him. And
because I really do feel like he would like to wake up twice at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, right, exactly.
To do this.
But it is again, if you want to visit it, you should go to the website. Again, go to our show notes page at computeramerica.com, and we have the link to FaceRig there, or you can just go to www.facerig.com. They do have a YouTube channel where you can watch several of these different avatar characters, the ones that they already have in the can, I guess is what it is, and they have a variety of them, and they're planning to do many, many more. And in the future, he mentioned probably 2015, the mid 2015, we're going to see more of these characters becoming available. And again, there's going to be a regular FaceRig, and then there's going to be a FaceRig Pro, and then there's going to be a FaceRig Studio. The FaceRig Studio, I think, is what going to allow you to do the post-production work if you want to do, you want to do it.
Yeah, I was thinking the studio was probably going to be for video games and movies and clips and things like that. So,
although he did mention Dragus, Florin, are you there? I just saw him come at the. Are you there, Florin? Nope. Okay.
Not quite.
Not quite. I know he's trying to get back in because we can see it. We can see it on the control panel that he's trying to access us, but evidently he's having some internet. I mean, I would like to know what avatars that they wish that they could put into FaceRig. Do you think they'll have any? It'd probably be a licensing problem. I don't think you could use anything.
Now, that's the funny thing, because they aren't restricting the community in any way, because, I mean, once you put a tool like this out, restricting the community would be very, very hard and require a legal team and things like that. Even though the individual licenses are going to be held by other people, what the communities do and what they make on their own and distribute on their own is going to be completely up to them. So, I mean, we're talking if someone gets the urge to make a Snow White avatar, they can distribute it and create it on their own because it's their own property. They made it, even though the copyright's held and yada yada yada. They're not trying to sell it for a profit. They're just making it.
They would probably hear from Disney. I'm sure they would get it. They would
probably hear from Disney, but I mean, we're talking about the community here. It's not under their control. So yeah, Disney can send them a cease and desist, but it's a random person on the internet. What are you gonna do?
Well, look what Rhea did to some random person on the internet. They really went after them. They were copying music software, and it was just for their own use, but they still went after them. To make an example. These are all issues that I'm sure that Florin could answer the questions to, but we're not hearing him. I see he's trying to log back on, but he's having internet problems out in Romania.
I definitely see one of my favorite things is probably going to be with this doesn't look too dissimilar from many video games out there nowadays. And if you were savvy enough to kind of create your own avatar, create your in-game character, and then use your webcam, as your character, as you're playing your character in a game, in Destiny, StarCraft, Diablo, what have you, and you're running a Twitch stream, that would just add like a whole nother dimension. That would be, kind of hilarious.
I would think that. I mean, I think the imagination is really the only limitation. I think that I think this will probably bring a whole new dimension to people who play, are into gaming and play games like this. I think that this just adds more. I mean, look, we just have them for a simple interview, and look how much fun it is. Okay.
Oh yeah, and I can tell you for sure when we get the keys, maybe once in a while we're doing the news, and we don't have a guest on, maybe I'll turn it on once in a while.
I think so. Look, I mean, you can also, if nothing else, you could use the different backgrounds. It's going to be a lot better than what you have in Hangouts. The backgrounds looks a lot like to be a lot more accurate.
Although I should probably point that out that when he did turn off the avatar's background, I think the backgrounds are only compatible when you have the avatar active. Like it's not like if you just turn the background on, it would just be you with that background, laid over you, because he was actually in a room that was kind of pointed up and at a different angle. It's actually an image overlay.
Okay.
It just blankets the whole image, and then it puts the avatar in front of that image.
Now, Florin, are you there? We see you trying to get in again.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, we hear you. Yes, we do.
Okay, I'm gonna just leave the video off because my mobile network
can't handle it.
Doesn't seem to handle both video and voice.
Well, we're glad to have you here, just even via voice. We certainly got to see what everything looks like in the first part. So, but I'm glad you're back because you can answer some additional questions that we wanted to ask you. First of all, are there avatars that can anybody put any avatar that they want to, or is it something that has to go through you, or is there like a wish?
No.
A wish list?
We wanted to make this as open as possible, so yes, everybody can put their avatars as long as they are built according to our import documentation. They can import it.
Okay.
And yes, this opens up the system to a lot of abuse, and we know we are not invulnerable to Internet Rule 34, I think it is.
Yeah.
But also, I mean,
But that's a risk you have to take.
Yes, if you want to give people creative freedom, you have to expect that some nasties will happen.
well, not even nasties. What I mean, if someone makes a character, an avatar that looks like Snow White or Donald Duck, I mean, what's Disney going to say about that? Or if someone makes a Star Wars avatar, I mean, there's copyright issues, are there not, that they would have to deal with? But that wouldn't be you. That would be the person creating the avatar. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of fan art going on, and Photoshop people don't get in trouble because people are drawing fan art of established characters. So
That's true. That's true. I guess it's whatever they want to, whomever they want to go after. I guess if it becomes too popular, then they might hear.
Oh yeah, that would be a horrible thing to happen. That your product becomes too popular. My God.
well, we do have we have reached out to several game developers for having official versions of their avatars in, and so far we've gotten positive responses. And we have a Floran avatar from a game called Starbound, and you saw earlier the Octodad avatar from the Octodad game. And we are really open to a lot of collaboration. So we want to build the characters that people want. But of course, we cannot build them officially unless we are officially in an agreement with the copyright holders.
Well, now let me ask you this: have you heard from or had any encouragement from the gaming companies like a Blizzard or one of the big gaming companies at this point with your product, or are you not at that stage yet?
There have been a few inquiries, but usually when these people call you, they also put an NDA before any talk happens. So I cannot really talk about it right now. But yes, there have been some inquiries.
Well, that's good. That's encouraging. I mean, they obviously know that you're out there, and are seeing that, and I know that I'm sure that there will be some sort. I would assume there could be some fair and equitable arrangement between some of these gaming companies who see this technology rising. Of course, there's always the worry that they might want to go around you and say, okay, well, we'll just develop our own. So there is that. You have to be concerned about that.
Yeah, but why?
Not really that concerned, because we're not doing this to become a big corporation and make lots and lots of money. We're doing this because we felt that there is a need for such a product to exist. And if bigger companies toss a lot of money and better product, then everybody wins.
Mm-hmm.
Because
well, all right. Well, that's a nice way to look at it, but still, it would be nice to make a few bucks for your effort. I would think. So
well, real quick, we mentioned while you were struggling with your internet, the system requirements for it were they weren't astronomical. You're not going to need some kind of supercomputer or gaming rig or anything like that. A low to moderate computer would probably be what's required to run FaceRig, right?
yes. Though if you do want to use it in real time and stream at the same time and maybe run a game at the same time, that's when it gets a bit more demanding. So if you just want to create content with it, then yes, it's rather low requirement. If you want to stream on Twitch TV with a very demanding game and Skype and FaceRig in the background, then you're going to need a beefy CPU.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's true for anything. The more processing power that's going to require. We had a question in the chat room for you, Floran, and he wants to know if you have any plans to make a Vladimir Putin or Barack Obama avatar.
That's a very interesting question, because when we started this, we looked at what was already on the market, and pretty much every attempt before at some point turned to political cartoons. Everyone. and say, okay, we're not going to try and do that. We're going to build fantasy characters, we're going to build sci-fi characters, and we're going to try and stay away from politics as much as we can. But it's an open creation platform, so if people want Vladimir Putin and Barack Obama, go for it.
Well, maybe we can kind of mix them in with Barack Obama and Fluffy, you know.
Yeah.
And make a hybrid character of both of them. But anyway, but the question came from chat. It's interesting because I guess there definitely is it's an awesome technology, and we really wish that. Let's talk a little bit about what you think the future has in store for FaceRig. What do you think? What's going to happen in the next year, next 2 years, next 5 years?
Well, in the next 4 to 5 months, of course, we want to polish the current form of FaceRig and make it available on Steam and also as a physical product in stores. In 1 year, we want to have the studio version ready for the content creators, and past that, we want to move towards full body tracking as much as possible. But yes, that will involve more sensors than just a webcam. Though those are becoming more affordable and are starting to be integrated in more and more devices. I'm talking about Kinect type sensors that also read depth.
Yeah, I was just going to say, because the Kinect comes to mind immediately. I mean, I would think that this would be ideal for they have it so the Kinect will interface, I think, with the. Will they have it now? Will it also interface with the computer too? I believe I know it's the Xbox. Yeah. But the computer. So here's a device that would obviously be, I think, would be ideal for something like a FaceRig.
Well, we actually had a prototype with a hybrid sensor setup that would also track shoulders and hands, but we did not make any videos with it because we didn't want people to feel cheated. So if somebody came across that video and then got the program on Steam, and they would say, okay, but where's the shoulder tracking? Where's the hand tracking? Mm-hmm. That will come later, because you have to also take into account the fact that that sensor costs a bit. It's not expensive, but it's not dirt cheap either. So we cannot really start with it. We cannot assume that everybody has a depth sensor on their computer.
What does the Kinect go for, Ben? It's about $200, I think, for Microsoft.
The Kinect standalone, I think, is like I know the one for the Xbox is $100, but I think the standalone one is either $150 or $200.
Yeah, exactly. So you can buy a Kinect. It's a Kinect 2, I believe. It's the newer version.
Yeah.
And so they do have
that. Would probably work amazing with FaceRig. I mean, way more sensitive than your average, webcam.
Well, that's this thing that we did not really get it in Romania just yet. We tried to get in the early access program a year ago, though it did not apply to Romania, the early access to the kind. So we're going to have to wait until it actually appears in stores over here. We're going to get it and start coding for it.
Okay. All right. So again, can people at this point get a copy of this FaceRig as it stands, or is it still not available to the average person?
Actually, it is available on Steam right now. Just look up FaceRig in the Steam search bar. Mm-hmm. Though it is in development, so some people may experience occasional crashes and disadvantages. So if you are on the fence about it, it's perfectly okay to wait until it releases properly. But if you are okay with supporting in development software, I think you're gonna have a lot of fun with FaceRig even at this stage.
Now, what platforms does it work? Does it work strictly with Windows? Is there a Mac version? I mean, and how are we going to deal with the different platforms?
Right now, it's Windows only. Sorry, that I know that disappoints a lot of people. So we are a small team and could not afford cross-platform development. So we need to really wrap up the Windows version and then start porting it to various platforms. Currently, for us, it makes no sense porting in incomplete version because we would be just burning resources. We have to do it all again anyway later.
Wow, exactly. So if you have a Mac, for example, you could just run something like Parallels or Boot Camp, which basically is the Windows emulator, and just run it that way. If you have a Mac, or as I said, you have a, now. What version of Windows does it work with? Is it Windows 7, Windows 8? What version?
Windows 7 and Windows 8, yes, those are the future-proof version of Windows, because we also want to use all the bells and whistles of DirectX 11 to make the avatars look as cinematic and as Hollywood-like as possible in the future. This is the starting point. This is not the end point, what you're seeing.
Right.
We really want to push this as far as we can on home computers.
Well, as I said, make sure that you get the keys for myself and for Ben. Send me 2 keys, and we're going to have fun with it on the show, and certainly going to Oh, one thing Ben wanted to know is that when you have the different background, do you need the character and the background, or can you have just your normal face and the background? That was one of the questions he asked.
It's just the character and the background for now, but of course we can add more features later. Selecting the background, it's a pretty simple process.
Okay.
So we have focused on the tough problems so far, not on the easy ones.
Well, Florin, listen, this was a real treat. Even though it was interrupted, really it was a lot of fun having you here and experiencing FaceRig. It was really enjoyable. And again, thank you so much for getting up so early. I know that you're out of town, we should say, in Romania. But thank you so much. And again, we have it up on our show notes page at computeramerica.com, and you'll see today's show, the 25th of September, and you'll see the link to FaceRig. And you can explore more of it when you're there. But again, listen, thanks so much for being with us here tonight, Florin. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for the invitation and for having me. And sorry about the internet issue. I'm going to have a word with my ISP right over the show.
There you go. And again, send us the keys, all right? Send them to me.
Okay.
All right.
Will do.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And thank you for getting up so early.
Yes, thank you for getting up so early. All right, well, coming up in hour 2, if you have a pet, if you have a dog, and you're always worried about, when you might lose a dog, our next guest is going to have a solution for you. Finding Rover is going to come up. They're going to use facial recognition to find your beloved pet. This is all coming up in hour 2 of the Computer America Show. We're going to take another quick break, and then we'll be right back. You'll see the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, and the IRN Radio Network. Stay with us.
Broadcasting live. It's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America. Hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Bring 'em on. You're listening to Computers run the world, and we live at ComputerAmerica.com.
Hello and welcome into hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And we continue on. We just were talking to Florin from FaceRig.com. Again, a lot of fun watching these live avatars come to life. And if you're watching us on a live computer video streaming page, that's brought to you by Otherworld Computing. And you can see all of that. Again, their quality products, excellent support since 1988. They're celebrating their 25th anniversary. Any computing needs that you have, be it for hard drives, solid-state drives, memory for your computer, anything that goes attaches to your computer, be it a legacy computer or a current, please visit them at www.macsales.com for all your computing needs. Anything you order from them over $49, you get it free shipping, free ground shipping, which basically means you get your order in 2 days. Just check them out. www.macsales.com for all your computing needs at Otherworld Computing. All right, so let's get right to our second hour guest. Did you know that over 7 million dogs were lost last year?
There goes one now.
There goes one right now. Exactly. Well, with something called Finding Rover, that's right. You can find your dog using a revolutionary facial recognition, and they have a revolutionary facial recognition app that we're going to talk about tonight. Now, first of all, it's free, so how can you lose there? Organizations around the world use Finding Rover. When a dog is lost, they alert local dog organizations, nearby members, and social media outlets. Here to explain exactly how Finding Rover works and how it can find your lost puppy is John Palomino. John is the chief barkaroo and founder of Finding Rover. John, welcome into Computer America. How are you?
Great, thanks, Craig. How are you? Hi, Ben.
Hi.
Well, welcome to the show. So, yeah, facial recognition for animals, really?
I know it's kind of crazy, huh? I know that's first thing people say to me is, "How did you come up with facial recognition and dogs in the same sentence?" And I said, "I don't know. It was one of those crazy things. It happened 3 years ago. I was sitting in a coffee shop with my wife, and I saw a lost dog poster, and it brought back these terrible memories of this dog Harley we had lost. Our kids in the back seat crying, putting posters all over town. And I thought, there's got to be a better way. And I said, well, if we can identify people, why not dogs? That's how it started.
How did you lose the dog?
He was a lab, and he could jump a mile high, and he jumped our fence, and he decided to go for a joy walk, and it was the worst 3 days of our lives.
And you never found him again? That was it?
No, fortunately we did. We did find him. A neighbor had him a couple blocks away, but he wasn't chipped. He didn't have a collar, and fortunately we found him. But as I said, it was the worst 3 days of our lives. Our dogs, our cats, they're part of our family.
Yeah,
I hope that's how this idea was inspired.
Yeah, did you chip him after that? I would hope.
Yes, we did.
Okay, we did. So there was the motivation. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm not racist or speciesist or anything like that, but I mean, I love my dogs, and I could probably pick them out of a lineup of other Newfoundlands, but I mean, is the facial recognition accurate enough?
Oh, it's
yeah.
No, Ben, yeah, it's amazing. We actually worked with the University of Utah with the Software Development Center, and these amazing scientists worked on it for over a year, and we have accuracy of over 98% with dogs, and actually in cats it's 99%. Because the software, the algorithms don't know it's an animal. They have no idea it's a dog. So you can have 100 labs that look almost identical. In some cases, the software is actually more accurate than our own eyes.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. So basically, the way it works is that when you get your pet, you go ahead and take a picture of him. How does it work? Tell us a little bit how it works.
So it works both on iPhone, Android, and you can also upload a photo on your computer. But basically, you download the app. It's all free. You take a picture of your pet, and what we've invented is a bark button. So to get the dog to look at the phone, you hit a little button that starts squealing like the puppy. The dog looks straight at the camera, and you take a picture. Yeah. And as soon as you do that, you there's a little area where you dot the eyes and the nose. And what our software does, it reconstructs the face. So the dog can be off axis 15 degrees in any axis. The software actually reconstructs the face, so when you see the picture again, it's actually looking straight forward.
That's a wonderful feature, because I can imagine how difficult is it now to get it to look perfectly into the camera.
Well, I mean, you just grab the sides of its head and kind of point it right at the camera.
Exactly. And it's hilarious how it works. People are just amazed. They go, "Oh my God, where was this before?" Because and they normally look like this. They kind of look sideways at it, but you're able to just use your fingers and turn the head on the phone to bring it straight. And that's all there is to it. And then you register the pet. We don't really ask any information about the owner other than their zip code. So when your pet's lost, we have a place to start looking. So that's as easy as it is. It's just been amazing. The reception's been amazing. We've been out a little less than a year. We've already found 400 dogs.
Wow,
which is pretty cool. Yeah.
That must really make you feel good. I mean, if you look in the background of Ben's picture, you'll see this furry, fluffy thing on the bed there. He just moved.
Yeah, I noticed. Yeah, yeah. They're our best friends. I mean, that's what's so wonderful about this. It's so positive. We've had such a positive reception because it's all about our pets. They give us unconditional love. All we have to do is take a picture and bring them home and save them. And you don't have to own a dog to save a dog. So anybody can take a picture of a dog.
One of our chat room participants says that his dog is always off axis. He says, I think she's off her rocker too.
Well, we can rotate her.
Exactly. So he could use this.
Yeah.
So now the technology. Say once again, where was the technology developed?
We worked with the University of Utah Software Development Center. These amazing scientists who, when I first approached them, thought I was crazy. They looked at me and go, facial recognition for dogs? And then the director said, my dog gets lost all the time. This is kind of a cool idea. So we spent the next year with a couple PhDs, and we developed a software. We had no guarantee that it was going to work, but we took a chance, and hey, we did it, and we're so proud of them.
Now, Finding Rover is it strictly for dogs at this point?
Yes, Craig, it is at this point. We actually can do dogs and cats, but we wanted to start with dogs because it is a complicated, software. So we wanted to work all the bugs out. So we've got them worked out. So in mid-January, Finding Kitty will be out, which will be part of the app, and we'll be able to also find your cat, which is a really big problem because only 2% of cats ever get returned to their owners. It's terrible, 2%.
So, and then after that, it will be Finding Fish, and then.
Oh well, I was at a convention and a lady said, "Can you find husbands?" And the other one said, "Nobody will look."
And we actually just got a question, and they want to know if someone takes pictures of lost pets and submits them. I mean, could they do this in like a shelter kind of deal before they hand them over to their new owners? Kind of start up like a database, and this would be better, I would assume, than or at least a good tool in conjunction with chipping.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, let me say I'm all about chipping. I want you to do anything you possibly can to save your animal. Chip. If you can afford a GPS collar, do that. But what we're doing right now is we're actually partnering with shelters all over the country. We just launched in Australia. Here in San Diego was the first county. So what happens is every hour we get a feed from the shelters with every animal that's in their shelter. So let's say you lose your dog, your wonderful dog that's there behind you. Instead of now driving to each shelter and walking every kennel, all you do is go to Finding Rover, hit the name of the shelter, and say, search for my dog. It does a facial recognition search of every animal in that shelter, tells you if it's been picked up. So now, from your phone, from your computer, from home, you can check every shelter in your area in a matter of minutes to see if your dog's been picked up. It's a game changer for our animals.
Jack in the chat room says he wants to know when finding my hedgehog, my snake, my bunny, find my bunny.
Yeah, well, you never know. But right now, our hands are full. I think there's There's over 70 million families in the U.S. that have dogs or cats, and worldwide it's probably triple that. And we just want to save them all. That's why it's free. There's no charge to this. This is about us taking care of our best friends and saving them. That's what this is all about.
So, John, if it's all free, we have to live. We live in a realistic world here. I mean, how is this being funded?
Okay, so we privately funded it. We had some amazing people that are all animal advocates and lovers who founded it. And then eventually, what we will do is we'll do an advertising model. So you may see an ad for some dog food, or you may see an ad for something else. But you're never going to see an ad for a barbecue or a trip to Hawaii. It's all going to be related to your animal. So if you can see an ad here and there, that'll fund this whole project, and it'll always be free. So somebody in South America who doesn't have any money but has a phone, they can find an animal. It'll always be free.
So you plan to make this a global eventually, not just the United States?
It's already started. I just got back from Australia, and the RSPCA, the largest shelter organization in Australia, has actually integrated us into their software. And we have our first 2 cities in Australia that have passed legislation to make it mandatory to register. If you own an animal in that city, you have to register with Finding Rover. It's pretty amazing.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That is. I'm glad that they're to hear that. We have 3 dogs in our home, and Ben has 2, so we have 5 dogs total in our family right now. and they're like members of the family, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely, and absolutely. They're members of our family, and this is, and as I said, I want you to chip your animals. Please chip your animals. Put a collar on your animals. If you can afford a GPS collar, I think that's a wonderful technology. But this technology that we've created is the only technology in the world that anybody walking down the street that sees an animal could just reach in their pocket or their purse and take a picture and identify that animal. That's the amazing thing. It's about all of us, you know, caring enough to do it. And if we do, guess what? These family members are going to be home, which is what this is all about.
Yeah. So let's go through for our listeners a process. Let's say we'll go through the registration process and then the finding process. So let's go through first the registration process, or what do I download it from iTunes? Where do I get the Finding Rover?
Okay, so you can do it three ways. You can download it on iTunes, you can download it on Google Play, or you can just go on your computer to findingrover.com and you can do it through findingrover.com. So once you download, it'll ask you, the only we ask you is either your email, so you can register by email, then you put in a password. And by the way, Craig, all the information is always kept private. Nobody knows anything about your animal until you lose it. It would be just like a dog poster. You know, you put a poster up and you put your phone number. That's the only time you would ever put any information about yourself in this app. It's really, we don't gather any of that information. So you register your dog by taking a picture. You put some information about your dog. We ask for your vet information, because if somebody does find your animal, can't get a hold of you, and they know who the vet is, they can call your vet and say, hey, we have Bill's dog Sparky here, and then they could take it to the vet. So once you do that, now your dog's registered. So let's say your dog gets out and gets away. So all you do is you go to the app, you hit the dog and say, I lost my dog. So the first thing that happens is a little lost dog poster comes up, and this is when you put any information about your dog. If it's on medication, if there's anything special about it, or if you want to give a reward.
Okay.
So you put that on there. As soon as you do that, you go search, and the first thing that happens is a push notification goes out to 10-mile radius of every member that has an animal. You know, that is a member, excuse me, not has an animal, but is a member. And and you see, hey, our friend is lost Sparky, please look out for him. And then you hit, and it does a facial recognition search. So now what it does, it takes every animal that's been found in a 10-mile radius and compares it to yours and then matches it. So if the match comes up, it'll pop up right on the screen. Here's who found your animal. If you don't find that animal, let's say nobody's found it, now you can start checking shelters the same way. You go to shelters and you start hitting the shelters in your area and say, search for my dog. And it starts doing the match. And you can extend this 10-mile radius in concentric circles all over the country. So it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So you can keep searching. But we do it in 10-mile circles because we don't want to start looking in New York if you lost your dog in Iowa.
Obviously.
We want to start in Iowa. But you can eventually look in New York by just keep expanding the concentric circles. So that's how it works.
Jonathan in our chat room wants to know if the current app would work with Google Glass. He's a glass.
You know, that's an interesting. We talked about that. You know, that's an interesting concept. That's something I'd love to look into. We haven't yet, but I'm assuming we could. We might be able to do it. The only thing, Jonathan, is remember you need to be able to dot the I's and the nose, and because what that does is it gives us the cross-reference of where the face needs to be restructured.
Ah, okay, right. So. I don't know if that will work virtually. They might have to make an API for that.
Exactly. There might be something you might have to do that way because the location of the eyes and nose, as I said, puts the face where we take about 128 points around the face to come up with the matches.
Okay, now in the introduction, you mentioned that you use this technology and you found how many dogs were you?
We're a little over 400. It's amazing. Just today we got notice that one here in the Bay Area just got. As I said, we launched with San Diego County Animal Shelters, so we're in the entire San Diego County shelter system. And somebody had lost their dog. Been 3 days. The daughter had seen Finding Rover, so they just uploaded a photo into the app from their photo library. The dog had sunglasses on. It still matched it. Within an hour, they found the dog in San Diego County Shelter, and they were able to go get it, even with sunglasses, which was pretty amazing. I didn't think that was going to work, but it did.
That's pretty impressive. And I guess,
yeah.
And I guess worst case scenario, I mean, the computer thinks it looks close enough that, it might as well be your dog. I mean,
Yeah, and exactly, Ben. It does it in order of likeliness. So as I said, it doesn't know it's a dog. So let's say you lose a German Shepherd. If there are no German Shepherds in the database, it might bring a Husky as the closest match because it does it in order of likeliness. So and that's even though the dog had sunglasses, it was located, and within an hour it was home, which is pretty amazing.
That was impressive. Now, 'cause I was going to ask you to give us a couple of stories. So that was the most recent one.
We had one today. Yeah, it was somebody here in the Bay Area had posted their. This was pretty cool. They had posted their dog this morning. Within 2 hours, they had a match, and it was a neighbor about 2 streets down, 2 blocks away. And even though they were 2 blocks away, it was matched through Finding Rover. They would have had no idea. It was almost like what happened to us with our dog Harley, where our dog was 3 blocks away for 2 or 3 days, and we had no idea.
And your neighbor didn't know that was your dog?
No, because we're antisocial. No, I'm just joking. No, yeah, I had no idea it was our dog. And then we started putting posters up, around town. And a friend says, "Hey, I think I saw your dog over here," and walked over, and yeah, there was Harley, all bouncing around, going, "Oh, you finally found me." Everybody crying for 3 days.
Yeah, and I guess you can't blame the neighbor because the neighbor didn't know that it was,
No. He was saving the dog, and I don't think he wanted to take it to a shelter.
Yeah.
So
really.
he was holding on to it.
Now the dog. See, what we do with our dogs, we have the little identification collar, with our phone number. You say, if found, please call. Reward.
Absolutely.
So that's all that. I'm sorry.
All that helps, but we have this little saying at Finding Rover that collars fall off, faces don't.
Yeah.
So, as I said, do everything, send smoke signals. Anything we can do to save these animals is what we're about. This is just another technology, another way for us to do it. It's just we feel it's a wonderful way for all of us for very little effort, for really very little effort. I mean, how many photos do we take with our phones? I mean, I probably have 4,000 photos on my phone. I have the heart to take a photo of a lost animal and see if I can find it. I could take those 5 minutes out of my day and try to save an animal, and that's all we're asking.
How about the reverse? I mean, maybe this might be something in the future where if you find a dog, you could use, let's say, Finding Rover to take the picture dog and then search and see if there are any inquiries, about.
That's how it works now.
No, I mean, in other words, it's not my dog. I find an animal and I say, and I'll take his picture and put him out in the database. You can do it that way too.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how. Yeah, Craig. That's how it works. So, in other words, when you find a dog, you're doing exactly that. You're taking a picture and you say, "I found a dog."
Oh,
so
okay.
That's exactly how it works, and that's how it matches it. So so if you consider a shelter, every animal in shelter is considered a found dog.
Oh, I see. I thought I thought I would use it with my dogs. I would take a picture of each one of my dogs and put him in the database, or him or her. That works. So
yeah, but now let's say you find a dog. That's not your dog. You're walking around, you find a dog. You take a picture and you say, "I found this dog," and you do the exact same thing. You dot the I's and the nose. It searches all the people that have reported their dogs lost to see. Then you can match it.
Okay, got it. Does it also keep a database of dogs that are not lost? I guess is what I'm saying. So I can just register my dogs and say, and keep them in there, and then if they do lose it, I can put it out. Say, "Hey, have you found my dog?"
Exactly. The key to this is to register your dog and have them in the database. So your dog's registered. So whenever it does get lost, then you're able to instantly, search for it. And the other, people ask, well, what if the dog changes? They get older, puppies. So the app, we ask the age of the animal, either how old it is or the birthday when you register. If it's under 18 months old, every 90 days we alert you to take a new picture until they're 18 months old. And then after 18 months old, once a year, we ask you to take a picture.
Yeah. Now, what? I think you sort of answered it with the sunglasses. But what if the dog puts on a disguise?
Yeah. Well, people ask, what if I have a long-haired dog and now I cut it? I cut the coat short.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it'll still match it. It may not be in the top 2 or 3. It may be at number 10. So when you're searching for your dog and it puts them on a list, it may be number 10 instead of number 1 or number 2, but because there's still enough features where it's still matching it, it just won't be in the top couple. So it'll still match.
I've heard with facial recognition software, that even though people put on disguises or phony noses or whatever that, but it's still there's certain metrics, biometric features that they can't change, like the space between their eyes, that type of thing, and because of that, it still can accurately detect you, even though you might be wearing a disguise.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's actually easy. It's easier with facial recognition to identify a person than it is a dog. The closer a face looks, the easier it is to distinguish, because all of our noses are basically in the same spot, our ears are in the same spot. But if you think of a dog, a pug versus a collie, a German Shepherd versus a Lhasa Apso, there's so many differences. It's actually more difficult to identify an animal than it is a human.
Wow, but they're still using the basic same facial recognition. I mean,
we are. We're using eigenvector. There's certain technologies that have been around for a long time. Our great people at the university have created some algorithms that work for animals better than they do for humans.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know how we all started looking like our dogs. So I guess if you put your picture in there, your dog would come up because we all look like our dogs.
Yeah, I keep hearing that over and over again.
That's a weird phenomenon. I mean, Craig.
Isn't it true though?
Yeah.
Isn't it true?
Craig looks just like his dog Diesel. It's spooky.
Yeah. See. Yeah. I'm telling you, we look like our dogs.
I don't know where that comes from, but my wife will show me a picture of a pet owner and his or her dog, and there it is. Oh my gosh.
My favorite are the owners of Shar-Peis. They always look like they're
Yeah. I don't know where I come in. Let's see. We have a little Boston Terrier rescue. We have a Yorkie, and our poor German Shepherd just passed away, and a German Shepherd. So I'm not sure which one I look like.
Oh my God.
Boston Terrier. They have those big eyes and those big ears. Could be that.
Yeah, that was me. That's probably me. They're just thinner.
So currently, how many animals do you have now registered?
I think we're closing in on almost 100,000 already.
Wow.
It's been pretty amazing, yeah. And we guys, we've just scratched the surface. Our goal is 100 million animals worldwide in the next 6 years. That's our goal. And when we do that, we're going to see some amazing, amazing results with the percentage of animals that are returned back. Because if you can imagine, let's say, in New York, if everybody has the app in New York, that means how many millions of people can identify an animal by taking a picture versus one person.
Right.
Or, I don't know about you guys, but I don't carry a chip reader in my back pocket.
Yeah.
I just don't. But I do have a phone.
Yes, you do. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's the cool thing about it. That's the cool part. And we have some cool stuff in the app too. We have cute pics where you can post pictures of your dogs and cute pics. So we have some pretty cool, social stuff in the app too. Oh, the other thing I want to mention, we also, since we get that live feed I was telling you guys from all the shelters every hour, we post all the dogs that are up for adoption in live time on our app and on our website. So if you're looking for a dog to adopt, now you can see all the animals around you in real time, where they're at. You can favorite them, put them in a favorites list, go back, and then contact the shelter and go adopt that dog that looks like you.
That's suspiciously close to a dating app for adopting a pet.
You mean doggy double dates?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, but our goal is to get a dog home, and that's an adopted dog, a lost dog, and cats. In January, we don't want to forget our feline friends. In January, you're going to be able to do the exact same thing with our little kitties.
Yeah, exactly. It's an amazing. This is obviously an amazing technology, and
thank you.
And anything we can do to spread the word, we're doing that right now here. And again, if you have any questions for our guests, 347-884-8881. 347-884-8881. I'll get you on, get you through. Email live, live at computeramerica.com. Of course, you can also watch us on our live Computer America video streaming page, brought to you by Otherworld Computing.
Real quick, I'm on findingrover.com, and you have a really great demonstration of how to use the app there. The sound, I'm clicking on it. Did you record that yourself, or did you get that stock from somewhere else? Because that is a very
is it cool?
Yeah.
I know, and it works every time. Try it on your dog back there. Put it down and try it. It works every time. It was one of our team that came up with the sound. I'm not sure where he got it, if he did some recordings, but I know he tried like 100 sounds to come up with that one.
What it's a dog barking or something?
It's a puppy whining.
Yeah, that's it.
Now we have that.
Nope, not
just
that
hit the sound? Oh.
Yeah, that was part of a soundboard.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but you try it. It's a lot of fun. I mean, as soon as you hit the sound, you start to smile. Go, oh, I can see how that works.
Yeah, exactly. So now, again, as I mentioned in the introduction, it's free, right? It's completely free, and it's always going to remain that way. That's your intention?
Always. That was my mission. And when we started putting together our investors, I got the investors together and I said, look, my goal is this is always going to be free. I want every animal to have a chance to be found. So if we keep it free, we can make money to keep this thing going with an advertising model. As I said, we'll put an ad for some dog food or whatever in there. And it'll always be free. So there are no hidden charges. It's not like, oh, it's time to find my dog. Now it's $1. Nothing. Oh, one of the other cool features that's coming out here in 2 months is that, remember I was telling guys that we were making a digital dog poster?
Yes.
That we make it? Well, now right from your phone or your computer, you can print it. So now because we have this beautiful poster, in the event that nobody's found your animal, you can just go to your computer, print 100 copies, and put them all over town. And you have this beautiful poster with all the information about your dog already in there. You don't have to start hand drawing anything or taking pictures. So you'll instantly be able to print a beautiful lost dog poster or cat.
Now, for some reason, I think we're seeing Zach approach here.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, as I said, it's hilarious when you try it. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
and our team members, his name is Saul, and Saul came up with the sound, and it's awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, he responded to it perfectly. He's on there just kind of tilting his head and.
Yeah, and if you do it with your phone, it's even more because you're pointing the phone at your pet, and when you hit it, as I said, they just kind of look cockhead like this, and like, what was that sound? Wait till you hear the sound for our kitties. I can't let it out, but it's pretty good too.
Oh my goodness. So again,
wait, I think I know it. Wait.
No, I'm not going to tell you.
I know it. It's the sound of cat treats.
I'm not going to tell you. You have to wait till January.
So that's your schedule. In other words, January is when the cat version is finding.
Yeah, mid-January, and we're going to do it under the same app. It'll still be under Finding Rover. We decided that it wasn't, because there are a lot of our owners that have both cats and dogs, and to have two apps, it sounded just silly. It'll all be in one place.
I'm glad you're doing that because as you continue to expand, you want to finding groundhog or finding rabbit.
We've actually been contacted for horses because I guess horse wrestling is a big problem.
Oh,
so I've
yeah.
actually been contacted by an association about doing horses, which we will be able to do eventually.
Well, will the facial recognition work for a horse too? I would imagine.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It would
have a
come
couple
up and
little
it would say,
tweaks.
"Want a long face."
Well, on that note, we're gonna take a quick break. We're at the bottom of the hour, and then we're gonna get back to you. Okay, John? This is the Computer America Show. You're listening to us on the Boost Radio Network, on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the IRN Radio Network. 347-884-8881 is the toll-free is the number to call. We're talking to John from Finding Rover. He's the chief buckaroo and founder of Finding Rover. We'll be right back with him. Stay with us.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 120,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy and major car companies filing for bankruptcy, Cover America Auto Care has announced revolutionary, inexpensive mechanical breakdown coverage that is now available to the general public to save consumers thousands on auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for drivers to call who own a vehicle that is less than 10 years old for a free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number is 800-483-2514. Drivers who are covered with this auto protection will not have to pay for a covered repair again. This is the auto coverage now sweeping across America at a fraction of what dealerships charge and is now available to the public by calling today. The number to call is 800-483-2514. 800-483-2514. That's 800-483-2514.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-866-663-MyTV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-866-663-MyTV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99. That includes your free HD TV upgrade, DVR upgrade, and the best part, the pristine digital picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. 1-866-663-MyTV. Disable the cable, cut costs, and get more. 663-MyTV. 1-866-663-MyTV.
Salutations, it's Marty Winston with a News Tips Bullet Review for Computer America. This time, the iRobot Luge. They spell it L-O-O-J. It's not an Olympic event. We didn't want all of our robot reviewables to be underfoot, so we asked iRobot to send Luge their gutter cleaning robot. It has a thin, fairly rectangular body with rubber tracks on both sides, so it rides in a gutter like a skinny tank in a trench. The front end has the muck attack parts, brushes, rubber paddles, and a scraper plow. You use its removable handles built-in remote control to send the gutter gunk left or right, up the roof or out away from the house. Auto mode takes it forward, backs it up a bit, then forward again, or you and the remote can send it fore or aft and stop the auger or spin it left and right. Our hodgepodge house has many short gutter runs, many higher than our old ladder can reach. So no new ladder or hire somebody, you've got those choices. Luge effectively extended our reach the length of the sections of gutters we could reach, meaning far fewer ladder moves. It got stuck twice. Once because of debris, we used a broom to drag it back and clear the fault condition, and once on a return, because we weren't spinning the auger. User error, quickly corrected. Bottom line, when it comes to the gutter, the iRobot Luge is an utter pleasure to use. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bullet Review for Computer.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. 33 minutes past the hour, and we have John here with us. And it's, we're talking about this app. Actually, real quick, is it just an app, or like can you do this through like your website?
Yeah, you can. It's a web app, so you can do it through a web app. Yes, you can. So for those of us who don't have smartphones, you can still upload your pet on the computer, and all of us who do have smartphones can find it if it's ever lost. So yes, you can do it on your laptop or desktop.
All right.
That's
perfect, easy. And also, thank you very much for the tweet with a picture of the gorgeous Pitbull and the Computer America logo. That was great. It's usually we try to go for the full hour with our guests, but when you have something like this, it's I don't want to say it's simple, but I mean it really is just kind of that simple. It's a great product, very, very simple, easy to use, and sometimes that's just flattering to know that we can cover it all in a little bit of time. Real quick, what do you see for the future of Finding Rover? I know that the cats in January and that kind of thing, but I mean, where would you like to see Finding Rover? Would you like to see it like a staple in every shelter across the United States and around the world?
Yeah, that's what we're working on now, Ben. Right now, we have commitments of about 400 shelters that want to bring us on board and integrate us, and our goal is to be in every shelter around the world, and our goal is hopefully to just be one of those apps that's on your phone that's there if you need it, and to save a pet, it's there. I did a TEDx talk not too long ago, and in that talk I talked about I see this as a social movement. I see it as something there where we instinctively see a lost animal, we just reach in our pocket and we take a picture and see who that wonderful animal belongs to and return it home. That's my goal. That's my mission, and so that's what we're gonna do.
All right. Well, listen, Paul. It's been a real pleasure having you here. John. You've been a real pleasure having you
Well,
here.
thank you. Thank you so much.
And again, if you want more information, just go to our website, computeramerica.com. Click on our show notes page. It's the date 9/25, and you will. We have a link to Finding Rover that will remain up on our show notes there for you to use. And we, if you have a pet, we strongly recommend that you check it out and download it and have it, because obviously the more things you can do to protect your pet, you should do them all. We agree with you, John. Really.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you. Take care. Take care. Bye bye.
All right. Bye bye.
All right. All right. There it is again. Finding Rover. All right. Is the way to go here. And again, for anything for your any other way that you could find your lost pet, certainly we would recommend that. So I think what we'll do is in this last part of the show is we'll do some computer and technology news. All right, Ben?
All right.
Well, let's do it. Tonight's computer and technology news is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system for free. That's right. Everything at the Slimware Utilities website, completely free. It's not a freemium model. It's not, it's crippled in any way. No, it's completely free. Download all of them. We use them here at the Crossman household, and we strongly suggest that you do it. Put them in your toolbox when you need them. You're going to be very happy that you did that, and you'll thank us for it. SlimwareUtilities.com. So in our first story, this is from Maximum PC. According to this, Paul Lilly, Samsung reportedly plans to end laptop and Chromebook sales in Europe. Evidently, the decision only affects the European market. The decision effectively ends Samsung's presence as a traditional PC player in Europe, as it doesn't sell desktops in the region either. Samsung does, however, continue to sell tablet PCs and smartphones in Europe. The company's decision may be a temporary one. In addition, it doesn't affect other markets around the world. There's a quote here that says, "We quickly adapt to markets' needs and demands. In Europe, we will be discontinuing sales of laptops, including Chromebooks, for now. This is specific to the region and is not necessarily reflective of conditions in other markets." This was according to a Samsung spokesperson who told PC Advisor. The timing of Samsung's announcement is interesting. They unveiled an ATIV Book laptop back at CES, and more recently launched its Chromebook 2 models. It's also worth pointing out that Samsung's first-generation Chromebook is the 10th best-selling laptop on Amazon in the U.S. and the third best-selling laptop on Amazon's UK portal. So they're still doing this really well, but I guess for now they're going to discontinue it. So
sounds like it.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. No. And while cursing over some of the older ones, I'm actually finding some of the newer stories. And this one from Popular Science actually just kind of freaked me out. Mm-hmm. And that usually doesn't happen from Popular Science is one of my favorite websites because they do a lot of science and technology, going forward.
Yeah.
And this story that they actually just reported on is for car buyers, the repo man is just a click away. So borrowers beware, lenders can shut down your car remotely if you don't pay up.
Huh.
That's creepy. So the problem with cars is that they move. The lender is interested in making sure loan repayments happen on schedule. Moving collateral can present an investment risk. Recently, Popular Science reported on how, in an effort to mitigate the risk, repo men were scanning billions of license plates, putting drivers' privacy at risk in order to track down the repossessed vehicle. So now the New York Times reports that some lenders are protecting their investments by making sure the cars are never really out of their control. Thanks to GPS, phone apps, and ignition locking devices, lenders can remotely shut down the car of someone who's behind on payments. That's creepy.
That is creamy.
So these devices mean lenders always know where the car is and can alert the owners if they are behind on payments. Often the shutdown of cars leads to an immediate loan payment if the borrower is capable, though because they are typically subprime loans, that isn't always the case. Payment locks have spawned a whole cyberpunk culture built around hacking the devices. In turn, lenders are installing fake devices to outwit hacking attempts.
Well.
And they actually have a quote here from the story. Some drivers take matters into their own hands. Homemade videos on the internet teach borrowers how to disable their devices, and Spirion has started selling the lenders a fake GPS device called the Decoy, which is meant to trick the borrowers into thinking they have removed the actual tracking system, which is installed along with the decoy. These devices are distinct from previous attempts in car hacking, not in function but in initiation. Attempts to hack a car often involve gaining access to the car's controls without the driver's knowledge. With lenders installing ignition locking devices as a loan condition, the cars are instead sold effectively pre-hacked. That's a scary article right there.
Yeah, it is. Wow.
So I guess, if you're... again, we advocate, getting behind on your payments, but it would just be a huge red flag if I was, signing up for car payments and the lender said, okay, well, in this sub-article, we're going to put in a kill switch in your car in case, we ever feel like you're behind on your payments, we're going to kill your car. That would be a huge red flag. So
would you allow them to do that?
No, I'd take my business elsewhere. That's just completely, I would have no intention of getting behind on car payments, but things do happen, and for them to have a switch that they can flip on to kind of mafia their way in, that is just insane.
Are they mandated to tell you, or can they put it in without telling you?
I'm sure it would be buried in the contract that you sign with a car loan.
So in other words, it's like an end user agreement that you don't read. They can just
pretty much, but you might have to start reading them. I know it's long, it's tedious, it's boring, it's not easy. But I mean, if this is a thing, which New York Times reports that it is, you might want to raise the question.
Yeah, just ask them outright. Say, are you paying here to that will allow you to to kill it, because it would be a kill the deal button. Really. Wow.
They're not messing around. I guess technology is going to give them that ability to, kind of take matters into their own hands.
Yeah, really, and leave you stranded on the road because you didn't pay your bill. Can you imagine if you're driving, you're doing a interstate driving or something, you're doing that and you're in the middle of nowhere and they hit the kill switch and you're just struck in some interstate?
Yeah, you're driving somewhere across state and it's midnight and you look at your phone and all of a sudden your car turns off and you look at your phone and you realize, oh, that's right, I was supposed to pay yesterday. Whoops. And then your car shuts down.
Oh.
That would be awful.
It would be terrible. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't advocate that kind of control.
Neither do I. It's your car. If they're willing to loan you a car and you to give them money every month, then there should be enough trust in that relationship to
really,
not have a kill switch in the car.
I agree. I mean, I can understand the kill switch if someone steals your car, like OnStar, they have all that stuff, but to do it because you didn't pay a bill, that reminds me a little bit like of debtor's prison. The people, I don't know if you probably don't, this is out of history. They used to, if you didn't pay your debt, they would put you in prison.
Yeah.
So in prison, how are you supposed to pay your debt?
Yep.
Yeah.
Or even that movie, Repo Man. Where they were giving out organs and making their payments.
Lovely. That's what. Oh, and my notification just told me in 15 minutes it's going to be my birthday.
Oh, congratulations! Is tomorrow your birthday?
Yeah, tomorrow's my birthday. Exactly.
Oh, who knew?
I just had my computer remind me of that. Okay, evidently, there it is.
Those are so hard to keep track of.
Yeah,
I often forget myself.
Yeah, 38. Wow, again. Maximum PC. Maximum PC. Another story. This is just, we've been talking about this Apple coming with the 8.0.1. Evidently, Apple apologizes for cellular killing 8.0.1, and they're suggesting to roll back to iOS 8. And his says, what else can go wrong with the iPhone 6 launch? Okay, he says, but he says, Apple is apologizing for its problematic 8.0.1 update, which has caused some users to lose cellular service and Touch ID functionality. It's the first update to iOS 8, and it was intended to fix a bunch of issues with Apple's mobile OS. However, complaints quickly started rolling in after the update was released, with users saying the iPhones would no longer connect to a cellular network, and the Touch ID was no longer letting them unlock their handsets with their fingerprints. Apparently, these issues only affect iPhone 6 and 6 Plus owners, by the way. I hadn't heard that. Apple has since pulled the update offline, suggesting a workaround being a rollback to iOS 8. I didn't know you can go backwards, but evidently they're making it so you can. In the meantime, Apple says it's preparing iOS 8.0.2 with a fix for the issue and plans to release it in the next few days.
Oh, so they're just skipping over the problem child and going right to the next one.
Evidently. He says, I wonder how many heads rolled because of this. We apologize for the great inconvenience experienced by users, which was an Apple spokesperson. Okay, they told that to NBC News. Okay. So there it is. If you have...
Yeah, and also kind of piggybacking on Apple getting a lot of flack, I actually saw this video making the rounds. It came out today, or actually it came out technically yesterday, and someone put out a fake Apple commercial. And the title of it is "The New Apple iPhone 6 Plus Feature, quote unquote, introducing Bend."
What?
And and I actually linked it to you, Craig. I'll link it in the chat room too.
Yeah.
It's a fake Apple commercial, and it goes, "We designed Bend so you can enjoy your life with the comfort you deserve." And it shows a gentleman kind of holding the iPhone 6, and it shows a mock-up. And its carbon fiber case allows it to bend over 6 degrees so you can enjoy the phone the way you like it. And they actually have someone take their iPhone 6 Plus and, grip it with the fingers around the back and the thumbs on the screen and actually bend the phone by squeezing it, by applying pressure in the middle and bending it outwards. And, yeah, the phone itself, it stays like that. The phone is now bent.
In the chat room, they're calling it the feature iBend.
Yeah, so they're trying to make it the feature bend, but I mean, yeah, it's again, the video shows in real time a gentleman taking a 6 Plus, applying pressure on the back, and he permanently bends an iPhone 6 Plus with his hands.
Now, also someone in the chat room said that they read that Tim Cook fired someone over this. I don't know how true that is, but he said he read it. So there you go. Somebody lost his job.
Like, I wouldn't know who would fire, maybe research and development, but iPhone 6 Plus seems to have quite a few bugs that are unintended consequences. I think, personally, the software ones are smaller, in my opinion. The biggest one is the hardware, where people are asking for thinner and thinner and thinner and lighter and lighter and lighter, but then you lose your structural integrity of an actual phone, which is personally what I think is the biggest problem.
Yeah, really. Okay. Well, you only. I guess the only way to find out these problems is that you release a product into the world, and then you get this kind of feedback.
Technically, just like I remember the iPhone 4 was found in like a fake iPhone 3S case or whatever it was. They're supposed to be field testing these things, and I guess if you're field testing, you really don't want to bend it, but I guess people are bending their phones on accident because they didn't want to put it through its proper paces.
I say just put it in your shirt pocket. Again,
not an option for most anyone. Actually, no, I'm going to take that back. Not an option for anyone. An awful thing to say.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's your turn to do a story.
Well, okay. We're not counting the video as one. Linux doesn't make the news often, or at least as often as it should. And unfortunately, people, I'm going to bring this one to your attention because Linux finally has a huge security bug.
Oh, no.
Linux bash bug poses security threat gets compared to Heartbleed. And Heartbleed was the one that was making the round on websites for being, for allowing websites like Facebook and Amazon and Google, allow them to be hackable.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go again. Security researchers have discovered a major security bug in the Unix shell known as bash, born again shell. One of the most commonly used utilities in Linux and one that could potentially affect a great number of Unix and Linux web servers. By exploiting the newly discovered vulnerability, an attacker can take complete control of the system and/or execute shell commands that could make a server vulnerable to even more threats. The bug is such that an attacker would need a high level of system access to do any real damage, though according to Red Hat, remote attacks are possible through, quote, certain services and applications. Patches are needed to fill in the security hole and eradicate the bug, but since it's been present in enterprise Linux software for so long, that's no easy task. That said, Red Hat, Fedora, Ubuntu, and others have released patches, and Apple is working on a fix for Mac OS X. Some security experts, including one of these bigger ones, have compared the bash bug to Heartbleed. Graham went so far as to say it's probably a bigger deal than Heartbleed because of the software that out there that's vulnerable. Catalog it all would be a nightmare, if not an impossible task. And I guess it's a bigger deal than Heartbleed, probably because it's run on systems that are traditionally not vulnerable. You run Linux on servers and things like that because they're stable, they can be so customized, and usually because they're such a small minority, they're not targeted with attacks. So, I mean, for a vulnerability this big to be out there, that leaves a lot of things that you didn't even think about before, which is server bases and things like that vulnerable.
Yep. And it's for Linux and OS X both. I assume it's because OS X is so Linux-like.
Yep.
And they were running a terminal, and you can on OS X, and you can see they actually show an example of it. Echo, this is a test. Vulnerable, this is a test. There it is. So be aware of it, and as they said, they're coming out with a fix for it. Now, this is a story from Time magazine, and it's a Facebook Wi-Fi drone is the size of a jumbo jet, and it could fly in 2015. I didn't know that Facebook was in the drone business, but evidently they are. The Facebook drones are on their way, and we're not talking about bored friends who send out Candy Crush Saga invites. Facebook shared a few more details about its plan to use drones to provide free Wi-Fi to the 2/3 of the world's population that lack internet access. First, don't call them drones, said the engineering director of Facebook. He said instead he refers to them as planes, as they will be roughly the size of airplanes, like a 747, although much, much lighter. Wow. So I guess the idea here is they're going to use these really huge planes that are remotely driven, can stay up in the air for years without refueling. I believe a solar charging that they use for these things, and they will give Wi-Fi access to places in the world, 2/3 of the world's population that don't have internet access.
That seems to be a common theme
Yeah.
nowadays, is getting internet to places that don't, traditionally have internet. And we're not talking about, rural Utah or something like that.
No.
We're talking about like, in Africa, India, China, places that don't traditionally have internet, and getting, 2/3 of the population don't have internet. So getting those 2/3 online and getting them to interact with the rest of the world. Because if the internet is as great a place as it is now with 1/3 of the population, imagine, again, twice more over many people creating content, viewing content, sharing their ideas, learning from websites and learning from YouTube, just the spreading of ideas and creation of new ideas from a much, much bigger population. That, I think, is what Facebook and Google and all these people are trying to accomplish right now.
Well, I just hope it doesn't get overcrowded because
the internet cannot get overcrowded.
Well, IP addresses they're going IPv4 to IPv6, because they're running out of IP addresses, and they're making much more efforts to expand the.
IPv4 would have been fine if we didn't want to connect our phones, washing machines, refrigerators, wine coolers, just everything to the internet.
Well, that's the Internet of Things. That's what.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying we'd have plenty of numbers. The internet cannot be overcrowded. That's like saying you can have too many ideas, which you can't. New content, new ideas. That is the goal for a lot of these companies.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is good.
No, I think it will be. I think you're right. I don't think that. I think bringing more people onto the internet, it won't get overcrowded.
I mean, and I know we can get like a little heady here, but think about the possibilities of, you are in Africa. Education is stifled for women and and otherwise unavailable for much of the population.
Mm-hmm.
If they have access to the internet in some way, they could teach themselves. They could learn about, through YouTube. They could learn through Wikipedia. They can, pursue their own education, without being without it being interfered with.
They could sign up at the University of Phoenix.
There you go.
Online university.
A whole new demographic.
Exactly.
Maybe those Nigerians will finally get some online banking, and they won't have to ask me for, wiring instructions.
It'll come to fruition. I say it will. Absolutely. Okay. Well, listen. We're coming to the end of the show. And again, it was a lot of fun. I mean, we had with FaceRig. Again, thanks so much to them for demonstrating that their avatar software. It was a lot of fun. And of course, Finding Rover. Again, available now. It's an app that allows you to use facial recognition to find your dog. If you missed any of it, you certainly can listen to it again. We archive all of our shows at blogtalkradio.com. Just go to blogtalkradio.com/computeramerica and bookmark it, and all of our shows are there. Or you can just go to computeramerica.com, click on the archives on the top of the
90
menu,
seconds,
and it'll take you to all the places we archive the shows. We archive it on iTunes, and as I said, Blog Talk Radio. All of our shows are available there. So it's just go to computeramerica.com for everything having to do with our show. Tomorrow night, Michael Miller is going to be with us, our correspondent. He's an author of over 150 books, prolific writer, and we're going to be talking about, guess what? Windows 9.
60 seconds.
And we're going to be talking about several interesting topics, Windows 9 being one of them. And so we hope that you'll join us on tomorrow night's show. And it was a pleasure having all of you here, and we hopefully we'll see you tomorrow night. That about wraps it up. So until tomorrow night, this is Craig Crossman hoping that your hard disk never becomes what, Ben?
Floppy. Or a raccoon. Not a raccoon, red panda.
Not a raccoon, a red... What is it?
Red panda.
A red panda. So we hope your red panda doesn't become floppy either. Keep track of your dog with Finding Rover. We'll see you tomorrow night. Take care.
Good night, everyone.
10 seconds. Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, everybody. Again, thanks so much for being here with us on our live Computer America video stream. This was probably one of the best video streams that we've had with the FaceRig. That was a lot of fun. So hopefully all of you enjoyed that. And Ben and I will see you tomorrow night with Michael Miller. So good night.
Good night, everyone.
All right.